Old Fashioned Football on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Bet Rivers. Claim your risk-free bet up to $500 over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetRivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetRivers. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time tickets make the perfect holiday gift. Download the Game Time app today and use promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SUPN to get 50% off your first month today and start making smarter bets today.
Hey, what's up? This is Sam Acho, and you're listening to Old Fashioned Football.
Old-fashioned football.
You make this deal right now, you pancake-eating mother.
All right, deal.
Old-fashioned football.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. If you're wondering who you're listening to, this is J Mark. You can find me on the X at JMark Football, and you can find us on the X at Old Fashioned FB. Cody in the chat talking a bunch of mumbo jumbo, but he did say,
what is going on over there?
He did say, let's go. If you're wondering who else's voice you just heard chime in, let me introduce you before we get going. This is the Mermark on X. You can find her there. You can call her Mer. I'm all backwards now. You jumped in before I was ready. My co-host on the pod and in life. You can find her on the X at the Mermark. You can call her Mer. What is going on?
Well, I'm interrupting you, getting after you already. It's kind of setting the tone for the show. We have some interesting, saw the agenda topics that you added, and I already know we're going to be fighting.
Excellent. Cody wants to know, is Taysom playing this week? This is the bad thing about Thursday nights. They do not give a great injury report until Friday. I think he's going to play. I think they need him to play, especially if Jameis Winston is the guy getting the start. I think they run the ball a lot with Taysom, but I do think he plays. Derek Carr, on the other hand, I do not think he plays. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
You think that's going to affect Taysom?
I think it's going to do. He's going to do better.
They're going to use him as a QB?
Quarterback, running back,
We're going to see him quarterback
tight end,
and throwing some
everything.
touchdowns.
Yes, absolutely. I do think that helps him. Week 14 is here, and that means it's in most leagues
playoffs.
The last week before the
playoffs start.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm already jumping ahead to next week.
Some leagues, it is the playoffs.
It's,
Speaking of playoffs,
yes.
I thought this was appropriate to play because you and I in our league, we face each other, and likely whoever wins is in the playoffs for sure, but likely the loser is not.
We've been facing each other every single week in some league for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, that's what happens when we're in like a million leagues together. But I saw this and thought it was quite appropriate. It said, bro, you'll see I scratched it out. If you're not looking, go to youtube.com/old-fashioned-football to see this amazing video of our showdown this weekend.
Have you come to destroy me, Obi-Wan?
I will do what I must.
Then you will die.
You can choose if you want to be Obi or Darth, but I will do what I must to beat you. Just letting you know.
Then you will die.
Nick says playoffs. Don't talk about the playoffs. I just hope we can win a game.
Here? It really just feels like fantasy football just started. I don't know how we're here already.
This year went fast, as always. But yeah, it went extremely fast. Yeah, it's crazy. Why don't we remind people what we drank on Monday?
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a little all over the place. I know we're anxious to get to a certain topic. I think that's.
Are we going to talk about weasels?
We're going to talk about weasels, but remind people what we drank on Monday.
Okay.
And now.
With my candied orange slice.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how those turned out. It's so cute. Anyway,
sorry, go ahead.
Control yourself. We are drinking Keeper's Heart Old Fashioned, ready to drink in a bottle. It's so good.
Yes, that
This is-
almost sounds like the ice from our intro, which I when we made that intro, I literally sat there with ice cubes trying to get the perfect sound for our soundbite there. That is
Well,
not
everything there we did.
yes,
I mean, we
not the auctioneering. I
not the
did not do
auctioneering.
that.
Unfortunately.
Before we talk about weasels, let's talk about D's Nuts. My name is Jeff. That's their name. I'm not making fun of them.
Let's.
Jefferson's coming off of IR. D's Nuts. My name is Jeff. Has to drop somebody. Should they drop Gus Edwards, Jalen Warren, Deontay Johnson, Zach Charbonnet? He does have Kenneth Walker. Or Cowboys defense. He has the Texans.
Well, okay. This just made it easier.
Yeah, I agree.
You drop a defense.
Yes.
Um,
Your choice on which. I know the Cowboys do have a tougher
mhm.
road, but they are a better defense.
You really don't. And you don't need to have two defenses. When my defenses have been on a bye, if I had a defense that I really liked, I just made sure I grabbed them in the waivers the next week.
Yes.
But especially because of points on defenses, you can usually find a defense who has a good matchup anyway.
Yeah.
If you don't get your defense back.
Agreed. I would go with one of your defenses. Again, Dallas has a harder schedule, but they are the better defense out of those two. So I would drop a defense there.
Nice
Keep your skill
name,
players.
by the way.
Yes. D's Nuts. My name is Jeff. It's like introducing yourself inappropriately, but then getting serious about it. How do you like D's Nuts? By the way, my name's Jeff. If you're in the chat, feel free to answer Jeff's question as well, because maybe you disagree with us, and that's okay. Speaking of disagreeing with, I disagree with some tactics that are being taken by
and I wanted
your
no part
parents.
in it, but I oh my gosh. So
You
many things happened
started
here.
to defend your mom.
Time out. We need to just get to how we got to where we got to today, and the discussion that I had to break up and then got really
Angry.
just angry about. So with Black Friday shopping, Cyber Monday shopping, like Amazon has been delivering at our house. No, this is how it starts.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It's like, where
We
is this coming
have been
from?
getting deliveries like crazy. We've been getting double the deliveries because my mom sent everything she bought on Amazon, or Wayfair showed up, FedEx showed up from another site.
Is that to avoid comments from your dad, or because it gets here quicker?
Yes. That's the answer.
Makes
yes.
sense.
No, but it's all Christmas presents. They're also redoing the kids' room at their home. Yes. So anyway, so they're down here for this weekend near us, and she came over on my lunch break to pick up her plethora of packages that we've been getting for over the last week. I did not know, because I have been so busy working today and busy. I did not know what was going on in our family league.
And
But
I'd
some
bust out of the
big-
house and start saying,
Yes,
well, if it isn't
I'm
the
outside
weasel.
helping my mom load her car with her plethora of packages. And you start getting into it. You lost all your son-in-law points today.
Well, okay, this
Not
was
just
not like
lost
a,
some, you lost them all.
hang on. We weren't getting into it like in an angry fight.
No, but it was.
By any
But
means.
you guys were
But
loud
yes.
out there, though. Like, I guarantee you, our neighbors, if they were outside, heard anyone. We live across from one of the covered bridges
Yeah.
of Madison County.
I didn't say our neighbors aren't even that
And
close. but-
Anybody, there's always people at that bridge. Anybody outside heard you guys today.
When somebody's a weasel, I am going to call them out. I can't help myself. Let me break it down for you. I get a call at 9:58 from your dad's phone. It's your mother. She wants to know why she can't pick a player up. And she said the player was just dropped. I said, okay, that's why there's a 2-day claim period. So you won't get him for 2 days from now. And she's like, okay. And I made a joke like, oh, I'm going to see who it is, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, no, you can't do that. That's not fair. I was just, because it is their first year playing fantasy football and whatnot. And I just thought, well, I am curious who dropped the player, who this player is. So I just went to the free agency, and there's Jahmyr Gibbs.
Fucking Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yes.
My dad drops him.
Yes. And now I looked.
Picks up
I was
for
like,
nobody. He
well,
just drops him.
I was like, okay, who did your dad drop Jahmyr Gibbs for? That's
No
what I
one.
thought. And I go and look, 9:53, 5 minutes before she calls me from your dad's phone.
She didn't drop him, though.
She says,
Well,
I'm not so sure.
Maybe we need to get the deets out of my dad. We're going to be
Yes.
dog sitting for them
Yes.
this weekend.
But anyways,
so-
He dropped Jahmyr Gibbs 5 minutes before she calls me, wondering why she can't pick a player up. Something smelled weaselly for sure. And apparently they had conversations of, well, he's going to drop him and then I'm going to drop a player and he's going to pick up the player without him realizing that player would not be available till Wednesday because we can't trade anymore. Well, that's the idea behind the trade deadline.
The trade deadlines. You can't trade because of playoffs.
He is not in the playoffs. She is.
I know. It still would have been like they're helping each other. Dad's record doesn't matter. Bottom of the league is just that's what it is. Is he bottom of the league?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, I think I surpassed him now because I've been winning.
Yes.
I was tied with him for bottom. Anyway, that is the whole point of the trade deadline. It's done before playoffs. You rely on waivers for playoffs. You don't get to trade people, good players who are in the players who are in the playoffs. No. So this whole thing is
make sure you sound off in the chat what you think.
Very
of this situation.
weaselly. I agree. It shouldn't have been allowed. I wanted to take commissioner powers and have you use your commissioner powers and just make Jahmyr Gibbs go back to his lineup.
No.
Quit doing what you're doing, mom and dad. Instead of that, you got weaselly.
No.
Yes, you did.
I just gave advice.
You did.
I called my dad up.
Well, you called your mom. You're like, Mom, you're going to go.
Hang
I don't care. I'm very intense here. You called your mom.
Yes.
Because your mom's in the playoffs. Is she not?
Well, she has said she needs help with running backs. I was like, oh, I know you helped your mom with the trade. I was like, here's a chance to help my mom.
Which
But anyways, I did call and then I looked at the waiver order and I was like, shit, your mom is ahead of my mom.
So,
but you know who isn't? My dad.
I know. So then you call your dad,
who is not in the playoffs. Doesn't affect anything.
But you got your dad to pick up Jahmyr Gibbs. So
he put in a claim.
He put in the claim for him, and he's above my mom, so he's gonna get him. And now my dad doesn't have a player, and my mom's not gonna drop the player for him. Which this is all just complete bullshit. This should not be able to happen. This is ridiculous. But you guys are outside going at it about this. And I just can't believe all of this happened behind my back. Nick, you called your mom first. You didn't inform me of any of it.
I was helping my mother, and then I saw she wasn't in the waiver order.
You didn't want to help me?
You're not in the waiver order, and you're not in the playoffs.
Nick
says it runs in the family. I think he's saying that you're a weasel as well. Cody says, yeah, Gibbs probably needs to go back on the roster. No, this is punishment.
No, see, I agree with
other
Cody.
half of the weasel.
No. Cody, I agree. We should have just been
like,
like, this is bullshit. You guys can't do this. Put Jahmyr Gibbs back on the roster he came from. Knock this shit off. Like, we need to parent my parents. That's what should have happened.
But
you should have you're the commissioner.
Your dad's one half of the weasel here. So he's getting punished now.
But we should have just stopped it. You are the commissioner. You have to be impartial. Instead, you are not impartial, and you're calling up your mom. You're calling up your dad. Pick up Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs was just dropped. You have to stop this from happening.
Josiah, if you're listening, sorry I did not call you.
To stop this from happening and to just be like, you can't fucking do this. Put Jahmyr Gibbs back on my dad's roster. And be done with it and tell them to knock it off.
Tell them to knock it off. But they don't learn a lesson that
way.
And
if you wanted to trade players because they were doing a fair trade. Mom was going to give, according to mom, she would not name said player. But according to my mom, she wanted, my dad, wanted said player.
This is the same person that offered me a backup running back for a top wide receiver and said, no, it's fair. I looked at their numbers from last week. And it's fair.
Anyway, because of the trade deadline, they were thinking they were bypassing that by doing this, which no, you just can't do it. This is just complete bullshit, guys. Stop it. She wanted to do it to beat my aunt. She needed Jahmyr Gibbs to beat my aunt in the playoffs.
No, she wants to beat your uncle this week.
Oh, no, my uncle.
Then she goes, I might drop Gibbs. She's not dropping Gibbs.
Nobody's dropping Gibbs. This is just so ridiculous.
Not true. Your dad is.
And I got so mad because you decided to do all of this other stuff instead of putting Gibbs back on my dad's roster.
Yeah.
And telling them to knock it off.
Speaking of family league, my mom chiming in. It's getting spicy in the family league. Cody says, even though you ignore his texts, he does agree with you.
Cody, I saw your text.
You know what a good bet is? A good bet is that Miranda's going to ignore your texts. Miranda, why don't you tell them where they can make some bets?
We are brought to you by Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers is available in over 14 states plus Ontario, Canada. Bet Rivers has some of the best live betting markets in the space. Their betting menu is second to none, including a ton of props. Depositing and withdrawing is super easy over on Bet Rivers.
Yeah, my Bet Rivers play of the day. Take the under in this shit show of a game tonight. Sign up using our link to get a risk-free bet up to $500. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And if you don't want to gamble, but you want to get down on some fantasy action, you can do so at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the easiest thing to do to get your entries in and win up to 25 times your money, or do what I do. One of the things I love about Prize Picks, I can make fantasy projections in my entry. Only 3 of them have to hit. That pays 1.5 times my money. If 4 of them hit, it's 4 times. If all 5 hit, it's 10 times. They even offer a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play, even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an insurance policy. Plus, they offer big payouts and weekly promos like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. We are here for that. We love tacos, and we pair that with Whiskey Wednesday. Now, look at tonight. I already insinuated that, or said that I think it's going to be a shit show of a game. It's not going to be very exciting. So we're going to be looking at some less, but I do have some mores here. So here's my Prize Picks play of the day. Najee Harris, less than 51.5 rushing yards. Najee Harris, less than 10 fantasy points. Devontae Parker, less than 9 fantasy points. I do think the quarterbacks run for their life a little bit. So Bailey Zappi, more than 6 rushing yards. Mitch Trubisky, more than 13.5 rushing yards. That's all you got to do. Just do those for your entry. Get paid. Go to prizepicks.com/SGPN and use code SGPN for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/SGPN, code SGPN. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All righty. We are back, and guess who else is back? George Play 01 is back for the flex. PPR, Kupp, Warren, or Keaton Mitchell. I say Cooper Kupp. It's hard to sit your studs.
Mhm.
I think Jalen Warren has an opportunity to score some points tonight, but Cooper Kupp. He's against a tough defense in the Ravens, but Sean McVay is a very smart coach. The Browns were a very tough defense, and they were still able to put up points. So I do like Cooper Kupp. Nick is dubbing your parents Mr. and Mrs. Weasel.
Well, you're a weasel too.
Cody is saying put the mortgage on the under. Jack Berkowitz chiming in. Start 3. Bijan, Zach Moss, Josh Jacobs, Isaiah Pacheco, DeAndre Swift must win. You got to go with Bijan.
Bijan for sure.
The Falcons are playing a very bad defense as far as rushing goes.
And I want to say Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, he's been very solid. I agree with that. So,
ooh, a compliment.
After he got stolen from me, then he's going off
Who
every
stole
game.
him from you?
You did.
I know.
Zach Moss, Isaiah Pacheco, or DeAndre Swift. Nick chiming in says he likes Pacheco, Swift, and Jacobs. Nick, I salute you. I really enjoy when the chat answers the chat because.
But I disagree. Bijan needs to be in that list.
That's okay. That's okay to disagree with him.
But I do.
Multiple
I know it's okay.
opinions are good. I was trying to see real quick here. The Chiefs play the Bills. And the Bills are, bear with me one moment while the computer loads. I've had so many tech problems today, mainly with my work computer. Bills are 18th against the run. So I think Isaiah Pacheco does have a really good opportunity to have a good game. DeAndre Swift against the Cowboys, that's a tough matchup. And the Colts, remind me who the Colts play.
Hold on.
I'm going to find it. The Bengals, who did give up a lot of yards passing yards. But I do think they're going to tighten up. I like Bijan, Jacobs, Pacheco.
I was going to say Pacheco, Bijan, and
yes.
Those are my 3 as well.
Bijan, Josh Jacobs, and Isaiah Pacheco. Thanks for checking in, Jack. Nick says under for tonight. Nick says, to quote the Murr, Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. The Murr doesn't like me. and
the Murr what?
The Murr doesn't like me because you are calling people, or he's calling people weasels. Should we get to this injury report? Because it's extensive.
Yes.
And we got some tonight. I know the game's another hour away, 2 hours actually. But yeah, I love when we go at 5 o'clock. We got plenty of time between this and the game.
Yes.
All right. You want to start it off? Oh, I have a story.
You have a story?
Yes, regarding injuries before we kick this off.
Okay.
It involves Aaron Rodgers. Murray, you know I've been dealing with a bad foot, right?
Yes, I know.
So
You don't have to tell me.
Yes, I have found out, thanks to Aaron Rodgers, what I should bring the screenshot up so I can quote this perfectly. But I have heard from Aaron Rodgers what I need to do for my foot. And it does involve a trip to Malibu, if you're okay with that. We're headed to Malibu.
Okay, as long as it's we're headed to Malibu.
Yes, because near his home, he's by the ocean and near Malibu. He revealed the healing nature of dolphin sex sounds and how that's been helping him heal. I'm not kidding.
Is this real?
This is real.
No, it's not.
This is 100% real. He said it in an interview. Yes, the healing powers of dolphin sex sounds. I would like to see the science behind this.
No.
Aaron Rodgers.
How do you know that's real?
It was from a sports article. To them. It is a real article. It is a real quote. Yeah, dolphin sex sounds help your injuries. So everybody on our list here that we're going to read out, they just have to listen to dolphins fucking, I guess. That's all you need. And yeah, maybe I'll just play them on YouTube. It'll save us travel costs. But
okay, why don't we? I mean, we have a Bluetooth speaker. Why don't we just set that out in the living room? You can go to sleep listening to the
there you go.
And then maybe in the morning you'll wake up.
What is wrong with that guy?
Tonight, when we used to go to sleep, I guess I'm going to be falling asleep so that you can heal.
Whatever they do.
What is wrong with him? Seriously.
I don't know. I think it's Swaka or however you pronounce it, that he was participating in the off season or the darkness retreat, something.
I'm just speechless. This guy,
he likes natural healing things. He doesn't want to take medicine. He wants to hear dolphins fuck.
How does he know he's hearing that? That's my question. How does he know he's hearing that?
Maybe it's he was on his crutches going along the beach and he heard this noise and he's like, wow, my Achilles is feeling better from this. And he asked a local fisherman, what am I hearing? Oh yeah, that's the dolphins. They're mating. That's exactly what happened, I bet. You don't think so?
Let's
talk about
let's go to our injury report. I've got some quarterbacks and running backs to go over here.
Didn't expect that, did you?
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson is the starting quarterback for the Jets. Just so we know, he's back. Kenny Pickett is going to be out. That affects the game tonight. Trevor Lawrence, he's not practicing. They haven't rolled him out, but I think maybe he's missing about 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's Derek
my guess.
Carr, you ready for this list?
Yes.
He's got a rib injury, a shoulder injury. He's got a concussion. He's only listed as questionable.
Everything is injured.
He is injured. The body is injured. He's questionable, but I think with that list of injuries, he's likely going to be out.
Yes, I agree.
For running backs, for everybody, Ramondre. Ramondre Stevenson, he's out tonight. Kareem Hunt, he injured his groin. No word on if he tripped on his groin, but he's not practicing.
He is injured. Didn't trip on it that long we know groin.
Breece Hall has an ankle injury. He missed Wednesday's practice.
Yeah, that kind of popped up out of nowhere, I thought.
So he's questionable. Seahawks running backs in general, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker injured his oblique.
Yeah,
Charbonnet has a knee injury, and they're both questionable. So watch out for that. Maybe just stay away from that this week. Rico Dowdle,
who has been getting more carries for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he has an ankle injury, and he's limited.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aaron Jones, questionable.
All year.
He's just...
If you drafted him, reliable. Which I did in leagues, it's been bad. We need to, by the way, sidebar, check out the SGPN football doc, but we need to have him on the show to explain what an oblique is and how it gets injured and how that feels and everything.
Well, we know what an oblique is.
What is it?
Your side.
Is it? Okay.
Side muscle.
That's what I thought. But yeah, I want to know everything about the oblique, how it gets injured, how it affects you and everything.
Would you not say that maybe you tore your oblique?
That was
2
an
years ago?
intercostal. I don't think it was the oblique.
Okay,
But
well,
anyways, speaking of Sebastian, go check out the
Mhm.
NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Last night, he was on there with our buddies Rod and Cody talking about the Army-Navy game because they're all three vets. Cody was in the Navy, Sebastian and Rod in the Army. It was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. I was in there talking a little smack. I did say that Rod doesn't have to dig as deep of a foxhole because he's short, so that's a benefit. Just kidding, Rod. Love Rod. Cody says, "Go Navy." You liked his hat. He had
he
a
was rocking his hat on top of his
nice little Navy hat on top of the
headset.
headphones. So that was nice. But yeah, we need to have the football doc on. Sebastian's a good
Mhm.
guy. Let's talk about wide receiver.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have
Injuries.
some? You had injuries to
Yeah,
bring.
Christian Kirk, core muscle injury. Is that your solar plexus? What is that? He is out for a while. Rashid Shaheed has a thigh injury. He's not practicing. He's questionable. Hopefully he does. Puka Nakua, shoulder injury. It was an AC sprain. They called him limited in practice, but Sean McVay says, I don't know what the heck that means because he was doing everything out there. So he's going to play. Dawson Knox activated off the injured reserve, full participant. It'll be interesting to see how that affects Dalton Kincaid's production. And then a more serious one that I wanted to kind of talk about, Hayden Hurst, who's missed games with a concussion.
Mhm.
Now they're saying he has post-traumatic amnesia. He is saying he doesn't think it'll be career ending. Why would you want to keep playing after that? That is
It's
scary.
scary,
It
yeah.
is. So, I know we give football players a lot of shit. We want them to play on our fantasy football teams, but some of these injuries are very serious. This
Mhm.
can affect the rest of their life. So hopefully, regardless of if he plays again, hopefully he can get past that and live a healthy life because that's extremely scary.
No, it is. On a less scary or serious note, maybe all these guys just need to listen to some dolphins mating.
Right. Yeah. Just listen to the dolphins fucking. It sounds worse
Can
when you say
stop?
it that way.
Yeah, it does.
Cody did say that that's the only part of his uniform that still fits. Completely understand, Cody. I get it. Before we keep going, we talked a little bit about Prize Picks. So getting tickets to your favorite event it's stressful sometimes. Maybe you don't have the money when the tickets go on sale. That's okay. You win some money on Prize Picks. You go over to Game Time and you get some tickets. It's a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun you're going to have. We don't have any concerts planned, Miranda, but we need to. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, and more. Plus, they have a Game Time guarantee, which means if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, they're crediting you 110% of the difference. They're not doing that because they have more expensive tickets. One of the things I love, you get images as your seat view, no more obstructed views surprising you. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps and you're set. And they're set directly to your phone, so you don't have to dig through your junk because nobody likes digging through their junk. Game Time tickets make the perfect holiday gift for Miranda and I, so go ahead and get us some tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets' revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value.
Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And we are back.
I have to disagree with you. We do have a concert planned. It's just not for a while.
Which concert?
We're going to Fall Out Boy.
We are?
Yes.
I forgot this.
We bought the tickets.
When did we buy tickets to that?
Over a month ago.
Oh, I remember. This is with friends, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now I remember what you're talking about.
Which will be a good concert.
When is that? Do you remember?
It is like the day after your birthday.
Oh,
April.
that's right.
Mhm.
That's right. Yeah, Fall Out Boy. Nothing like a flashback. I hope they play their old stuff. Not a fan of some of their new stuff.
I
That's
like
okay.
all of it.
Who are they with? Are they with Panic or no?
Mm-mm.
No,
No,
not with Panic.
no, but they are with somebody good.
Just because they sound like them, that's an preposterous thing that you just suggest out there. If you're in the chat, make sure you ask your start sit questions. Otherwise, we're going to start rolling through our start sits in a minute here while you look up who Fall Out Boy is in concert with. Fall Out Boy Des Moines is all you got to click. It's all you got to click. So-
That's what I searched. Jimmy Eat World.
Oh, yeah, Jew.
Yeah.
I like them. We saw them recently, did we not?
Yeah, at Woolies.
At Woolies, yes, because I forgot they sang May Angels Lead You In, and they played that song, and I was super happy because I was really big in that song in college. Anyways, hopefully they play that. This is at the Wells Fargo Arena,
it's
though,
a
right?
big arena.
Yeah. I prefer the small venues, but it's okay.
It's going to be okay. And you're going to keep your negative comments to yourself, and I don't want to hear them again.
Well, here's a positive comment. Pate has a question.
Yes.
Start 3 this week. Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, and Puka Nacua. What a lineup. Can you start all 4? Calm down. You're choking because it's such a good lineup?
Yes.
Can you start all 4? That's my question. Wow.
So who do you sit?
Right. That's the tough part because that's basically you're picking one to sit.
Do you sit
Olave
because
Jameis Winston?
Yeah. Or do you hope that maybe Taysom Hill has some good plays with him?
I think Olave may be the route to go there because for me, it's Olave or Waddle, but it's hard to sit a Dolphins player.
It's hard to do that.
Especially they're a double digit.
I think if you have to take,
again.
I think I would maybe sit Olave out of caution just because there's a chance he doesn't. I think he has more of a chance to bust.
They also play Carolina, which is like the 5th ranked defense against wide receivers as far as fantasy football points go. So yeah, I think you sit Olave. Hell of a lineup though. Awesome job drafting or trading. However you crafted that, excellent job. Also, I have Justin Jefferson in a league and I am excited to get him back. It's like just a perfect time for playoffs. Pate also wanted to know, would you start Dallas Goedert or Taysom Hill? Everything I'm hearing says Dallas Goedert's going to play. I know he goes against a strong Dallas defense. Let me look up real quick what they are against tight ends.
I anticipate, though, that Taysom Hill is going to see some use as quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have to run the ball. Well, I think he has to run the ball, too. I think they need to spell Kamara, and they do that with Williams, but also Taysom Hill.
That's a hard decision.
I go with Dallas Goedert, though. I think Goedert is more safer.
Safer. I think
Hill's
that starting Hill, he has if it pans out, then he could get you some really good points.
Yeah.
But it's a riskier move.
Yep. I definitely think Dallas Goedert has a safer floor. Hill, a higher ceiling. Well, there's a chance of boom, but I do like that. I like the Goddard's back. I'm getting him back in a league too. Everybody's getting healthy at the right time.
Just in time for playoffs.
Yeah. Pate, I don't think we've seen you in the chat before. Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. If you're a whiskey drinker, grab a whiskey and have it with us. Hit subscribe.
Smash that subscribe.
Smash it. And hit the like button. All that good stuff. We appreciate you checking in. Here's a question for you. I have Brees Hall, but he's questionable. I have B. Robinson, I believe that's Brian Robinson, who's on a bye, and Charbonnet, who is questionable on my bench. Unfortunately, Jahmyr Gibbs is not available to me.
He's not available to anybody unless you.
I don't think there's a question there, but you're going to have to roll with Brees Hall and Zach Charbonnet and hope that Kenneth Walker doesn't play and Sharp gets some yardage.
Or hope that, Charbonnet is. Wait, did you say gets to play?
Hang on.
What are you saying here?
Hopefully Kenneth Walker is out, I guess.
Well, it's kind of a toss-up between the two. They're both injured.
Questionable. I thought you picked up Ezekiel Elliott for some reason. I would start him tonight. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but he is on spoiler alert. Yeah, I have Zeke Elliott. I thought so because I looked at your roster. I think Zeke is going to get some good opportunities tonight. And while the Steelers defense is good, that is the running is how you can take advantage of them. So I think Zeke gets a heavy dose. Plus, it's the Patriots. They can't throw the ball. Sorry, Cody. Bailey Zappi not getting the job done. So, yeah, throw Zeke in there. Zeke and Brees. That's who I would do. All right. Should we talk a little bit about sits? I'm going to run a little ticker on the bottom here in case anybody new is joining us, or not sits, starts.
I was gonna say we're gonna skip the sits.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do starts.
Sit to the shit or skip to
We're
the
doing
shits. No.
sit starts, not start sits.
Yeah, right. I'm just
Are you
remembering
ready?
your
Are you
quote
good?
from Monday when I
Wait.
accidentally said our start shit show, and you said, and then I clarified start sit, and you said, which sometimes is a shit show.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's talk about some quarterbacks.
It kind of is today. Started out really feisty, Justin.
Cody's rooting for the Steelers. I'm assuming he wants our draft pick. How dare you? Because the Panthers are going to be the worst team in the league, and we are going to get that high draft pick. Go ahead and kick it off with your starting quarterback.
Okay. I can't believe I'm saying this. Dak Prescott. I know we're an anti-Cowboys organization here at the SGPN.
Spit all over everything.
But the Eagles are letting up the second most fantasy points to quarterbacks. Eagles are good at stopping the run. So I think the Cowboys will be passing the ball a lot. This could mean a big day for Dak and his receivers.
Yeah.
So starting Dak if you have him.
No, I agree with that. Cody does say they'll take the number 2 pick. That's right. The number 1 is ours. Maybe he'll trade with us. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. I'm going to go with, this is probably predictable from me, but I'm going to go with Justin Fields. I know. Bring on the haters. It's Justin Fields.
Not hating.
It's the Bears.
It's just a typical you.
I know. However, he is very good running the ball on the Lions. 3 games in a row, he's gone over 100 yards against them, dating to last year. And I think he's going to continue to have that. I think the Bears are pissed off because they should have won that game against the Lions 3 weeks ago in Detroit. Now they're in Chicago. Chicago plays better in Chicago anyways. And yeah, I think he's going to have a good game. I think he's going to pass the ball some too, but he's going to get his rushing yards. And so that's going to give him a nice floor to where he can jump up to that nice ceiling. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Jay Fields.
All right. At running back, I have starting Tyler Algier. Bijan will have a day 2, but you're likely already starting Bijan. Algier is the one that people are likely wondering if they should start him or not. And Panthers are last in the league in running back fantasy points allowed.
Yeah. I accidentally took a mouthful of ice. I don't know why I do that.
What's wrong with you?
So excuse me as I talk about my start, which is tonight. I already alluded to it. As Mom asked the question, Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, I could see him having a good game against the Steelers. He's the starter. Ramondre is out. We already talked about that. Steelers do have a decent defense, like I said, but it struggles to stop the run. They're 24th in fantasy points allowed to running backs. And like I said, I think the Patriots need to run the ball. Not Mac Jones. Bailey Zappi's total passing yardage is very low. They're going to run the ball. They need to run the ball. And I think Zeke probably has a lot to prove, does he not? He goes from the starter of the Cowboys to really nobody wanted to sign him until the Patriots finally did. It's kind of funny that he went from such a team that is going to be in the playoffs, obviously, to a team that's won 2 games. I'm sure that he's regretting that decision, but I would think if I was him, I would want to prove to people that, hey, I'm still a good player, even though I didn't get re-signed to my team I played for all those years and yada, yada. So, yeah, I say start Zeke.
All right. Whoa, are you switching it up on us?
Oh, yeah, you said I could not have any more of the other.
We have to go. It has to go sparingly.
We're halfway through it already. We need to find a way to order some.
Yes.
But, yeah, you were peeking at Nick saying, let me tell you my start on Brockhard Purdy.
Of course, Nick,
Yes.
49ers fan over there. Wide receiver. I've got Brandon Cooks, much like how I talked about. Dak Prescott having success. Cooks should have success against the Eagles. CeeDee Lamb is the obvious choice here, but the Eagles should do everything they can to stop Lamb. So Cooks has he's scored a touchdown in 5 of the last 7 games. I think he's going to make it 6 of the last 8.
Quickly doing some math
math.
No, he's been surprisingly good. I thought Cooks was probably cooked. I did not think he was going to have much of an impact, and it started that way. I mean, if you look at how he started the season, it's like, yeah, this is exactly what I expected, but he's really picked it up recently. So, Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to go with the guy that we talked about Monday night on our waiver show, Elijah Moore. No word on if Cooper, not Cooper Cup, Amari Cooper.
Amari,
No
the
word
other
if
Cooper.
no word if Cooper is going to play. He did get a concussion, but we got Joe Flacco as the starting quarterback for the Browns.
Joe Flacco.
Again, what year is it? And he's got experience throwing to Elijah Moore when they were both on the Jets. He did target him the most in the game last week. I think he continues to do that. And on top of that, the Jaguars are 28th in fantasy points allowed to receivers. That's who the Browns play. This is going to be interesting because the Jaguars likely without Trevor Lawrence. I know they haven't ruled him out, but that looked bad. I think he will be out. They have C.J. Beathard, beloved Iowa Hawkeye. C.J. Beathard, probably the last decent, I won't say he's a good quarterback, last decent quarterback to play for the Hawkeyes.
I won't say he's good, but I'll say he's
decent. Right. Well, it's Iowa.
He's not a tight end. If he was a tight end, he'd be great.
Exactly. Maybe he should have converted. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting game with the Browns and the Jaguars. Jaguars need to keep winning, but Browns do too to try to squeeze into the playoffs with all the injuries they've had, especially at quarterback. So it's going to be an interesting one. Should we talk about start sits? I mean,
where have you been?
I forgot to post on the X from my account, and I was trying to slyly do that over here while talking, and it's just not working out.
In the middle of our starts. Are you okay?
Yes.
I would like to talk about tight ends. You good with that?
Talk about your tight end.
Isaiah Likely with you just kill me. With Mark Andrews out, Likely has now had some time to get the tight end 1 reps in practice over the bye week. He's not going to be a full-on replacement for Mark Andrews, but he's a talented tight end that they've invested in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That they believe in. And the Rams are 30th worst for fantasy points allowed to tight ends. Did I say this right?
You did.
30th. Yes. Yeah, 30.
They allow the 30th most.
Yeah, they're 30th against tight end.
Okay? They dog shit against the tight end.
There you go. Basically, bottom of the league almost against tight ends.
By the way, I know we were promoting Keeper's Heart Old Fashioned Ready to Drink. I grabbed another ready to drink to
that's
have
not an RTD. That's a special kind of whiskey.
I guess you're right. It's not an RTD. It is mixed though. But anyways,
let's get it right.
Bad Sweater from Savage and Cook. Obviously, we had Dylan Carney on.
Finished with spices.
Well, it's got
brown sugar and holiday spice.
Yeah.
Finish.
Yeah.
It's not an RTD.
And I believe, if I understand correctly, that every batch is a little different. They don't. I mean, because they don't like. I think from talking with him, they don't measure the spices. They kind of go with what they feel and everything. So anyways, I poured that. That's really good too.
Yeah, no, this is good. I just got done telling you earlier today that when we are having Christmas with your parents, I will be making my sweater weather old fashions.
I'm sure they are looking forward to that. I am as well. We got to think of another fun drink too. Not one that has, was it sage?
No, it was rosemary and cranberry.
That's right. Not my dad's style. He was not a fan of that.
No.
My tight end is Cole Kmet. I'm staying on the Bears train here, obviously. But Kmet's been very efficient this year. In fact, I think he's 100% on catchable balls thrown his way. He's missed some that were not catchable, but he's 100% on catchable balls, and he's been targeted 7 or more times in 4 of the last 5 games. Fields, Bajent, no matter who is at quarterback, they have plays drawn up for Cole Kmet, and the Lions are 24th in fantasy points allowed to tight ends. So he should be able to take advantage of their defense as long as anal zone stays away from him. And Anzalone. I mix that up all the time. My bad. I'm going to have to take this bad sweater from you because you're playing with the scarf on it. It's very distracting.
I am a fidgeter.
You're on timeout.
Okay.
Cole Kmet, Jay Fields,
distracting you with my scarf playing.
Should we talk about
what was so distracting about it?
I don't know. It's just I could just see this out of the corner of my eye. Should we talk about the shit list?
Yes. Let's talk about sits.
Nick's gonna like your shit list. I think.
You think?
I think so.
You peeked?
Huh? I peeked. I can see your notes over there.
Okay.
It's right there.
Shut up. All right. My sit quarterback is Geno Smith. I know Geno had a great game against the Cowboys, but the 49ers have made it tough on opposing quarterbacks. So this is more of a fade anybody playing the 49ers.
Yeah.
Plus it's a division rivalry against and in San Francisco. It's in San Francisco?
It is.
And the last time they played in Seattle on Thanksgiving, Geno had 7.3 points.
Yeah, I know he had a great game against Dallas, but that's Dallas. I don't think he's going to immediately put up a ton of points against San Francisco. Mine's tough because you likely can't sit CJ Stroud. But I'd be cautious. The Jets don't have a lot going for them, except that they do have a really good defense. They might focus on limiting Nico Collins, and with Tank Dell out, Stroud, he may not be able to have the type of games that he's been having. I know Nico went crazy last week. He had like 190 yards. I don't think he's going to have that same type of day. Maybe they get Noah Brown more involved, and that kind of helps. But I'm just worried about how Stroud is going to do against this Jets defense, and I would be cautious or at least weigh your options there because I know I have him in a league, and I did move him to my bench in favor of who I had. So, yeah, just be cautious. Stroud's got a tough matchup.
He does. All right. Running backs. Again, I see why you think Nick is going to like this. Seahawks running backs in general. I already talked about how Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are dealing with injuries. So whether you have either of them, aside from their questionability, whether the 49ers have been not weather, just the 49ers have been really good at slowing running backs.
Slowing everybody.
They've been, all together, they've just been really good. But they've also been good. Well, I was just going to say they've also been good at slowing. They're just good.
They're good.
They're good here.
Got a hell of a defense.
Nick, you got a good team right now for your defense.
Yeah.
Last week, we said to sit Swift, and he only had 4 points. This week, avoid the Seahawks running backs.
Right. Especially since they're both banged up.
Banged
up, bad matchup. Yeah. Get them out of there. Get them out of there.
If you can, look elsewhere.
Yeah. Mine again. I don't know why I keep giving you hard decisions, but Tony Pollard. The Eagles are allowing the least amount of points to running backs. Now, as long as that running back is not named Christian McCaffrey, who had a pretty good game, but the least amount to running backs fantasy-wise in the league. And their defense, you talked about it in your starts. You said start Dak Prescott, Brandon Cooks. Their defense can be taken advantage of in the air. I don't think the Cowboys have a good running game against them this week, so it's hard to sit Pollard, but I would sit Tony Pollard.
Interesting.
I know, right?
All right, a wide receiver, Adam Thielen is my sit. We thought he'd bounce back after one catch from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
but last week was
killing me.
I know. It was another disappointing week. Now he goes against the Saints, who are tied. They are tied. I have drank too much of this, and I am tripping over my words here.
She's getting trippy.
No, I don't know. Anyway, the Saints are tied in allowing the 5th least amount of fantasy points to wide receivers. Bryce Young
sucks.
He's bad. He's not. It's bad.
You know what, though? He is going to be great in the new UFL, the United Football League, which is the combination of USFL and XFL. He's going to be great in it.
When is that happening? When are they doing that?
They're finalizing the details, but it's all but done.
Okay.
I hate it.
It's weird.
They're cutting it down to 8 teams, one league, 8 teams. So now you lose 8 other teams. And I just, don't get me started.
Interesting. We'll see what comes of that. But anyway, Adam Thielen, I think it could really likely just be another disappointing day for anybody who's rostered Thielen.
Yeah, agreed. I did move him to my bench. And I'm going to go with Chris Godwin. He hasn't been what we expected with Baker in there. And you talked about being tied for 5th. The Falcons are also tied for 5th. That's who the Bucs play. And this is Baker to Mike Evans show, basically. Trey Palmer has picked it up. Chris Godwin just hasn't been the guy that I expected him to be. I expected him to remain kind of a top wide receiver option, maybe in that top 30 at least. And he's not been good recently. He's put up less than double-digit points in half PPR leagues. So, yeah, I don't rely on him to bounce back. I think that's just the new Godwin, unfortunately, for this year, anyways.
Yeah.
Tight ends.
Ready to move on to tight end?
Yeah.
All right. Evan Ingram. He's been good, but with CJ Beathard starting against the Browns, who are third ranked against tight ends as far as fantasy points are allowed, I just think it's going to be hard to sit Ingram, but this may be a really bad matchup for him.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, you would think CJ Beathard, the one thing from being from Iowa that he would be good at is throwing to tight ends, but no, I think this will be a tough.
I do. It's going to be
one.
tough.
Yeah. Aaron, we'll answer your question in just a second. I'm going to do my last sit here. Dalton Kincaid, I know he's been good. I get that. But we talked about it in the injury report. Dawson Knox is back. The Bills have a tough tight end matchup anyways against the Chiefs. It's kind of funny, like teams that have good players at the position. So like the defense has to continually in practice cover Travis Kelce. Well, now all of a sudden they're good at stopping the tight end. And so they're good against the tight end anyways. And I just don't know how Dawson Knox coming back is going to affect Dalton Kincaid's playing time. Now, I think Kincaid's done enough to definitely stay involved in this offense, but he's still bound to lose some snaps to Knox as long as Knox plays. Keep an eye on that. But either way, I think I'm sitting Kincaid just because of that matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. We got a question here from Aaron Elledge. Welcome, Aaron. Start 2, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs. That is tough.
Eckler and Jacobs.
Now, I don't know if you saw, but Brandon Staley, head coach of the Chargers, today said that they might have to give some more carries to Joshua Kelly due to the fact that Eckler has been struggling.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I know.
I keep having faith in.
To me, I think it's a motivation play. I would go Pollard and Eckler. Jacobs and Eckler. I think Pollard's got that tough matchup against the Eagles. We just talked about that a little bit ago. But yeah, I think it's a motivation thing. It's like, hey, nobody is like untouchable here. Anybody could lose their job. So he says something like that. It would not surprise me to see Eckler come out and have a really good day.
He needs to.
Even if
he needs to step it up. We need him to.
Yeah. Even if
he
it's
has
catching
it in
the ball,
him.
though. They have not utilized him in the passing game, and that's where Austin Eckler is really good. He's really good receiving out of the backfield. I think it's terrible coaching. I thought Kellen Moore was going to do wonders for that offense. He is not as their offensive coordinator, but I think this is a motivation play. I think they're going to get Eckler more involved. So, yeah, I would go Eckler and Jacobs on that one. Thanks for checking in. Don't forget to hit the like button if you can. Smash the subscribe button so you know when we're live. We're going to try to help you get through the playoffs and get a victory. We got a lot of playoff matches going on, you know. You and I, we made a lot of playoffs. Kudos to us. I know it's not playoffs yet, but we're solidified in multiple.
We are.
So
we are.
And there is a scenario, even after I beat you in our league this weekend, that you still make the playoffs. So I'm still pulling for you, honey. After I beat you.
Do you know who else is tied with us?
Who?
Zeeb.
Cody Zeeb. Yeah, he is.
We're all 7-6.
Welcome to the league, Cody Zeeb. Aaron does say he does not feel he's able to start Eckler since he's lost you 2 weeks in a row and you have to win. I understand that. The Eagles are just their fourth against running backs, so Pollard could have a tough matchup. You're going to have to trust your gut there, unfortunately. My gut says Eckler. I think it's a motivational play. I don't think Eckler actually loses as much work as they kind of made it seem. I know he's been disappointing. I get that. But if your gut's saying Pollard, I can't fault you for that.
No, I think Josh Jacobs is the obvious start between these.
Agreed. Yeah. Got to start Josh Jacobs. I forgot I had another video for you. You were supposed to remind me.
I was I?
Yeah. Oops. Yep. This was like, we acquired another whiskey, which we tried right there. I was backwards, which we tried. And it's like, You think about the whiskey collection continues to grow as we try these whiskeys. We have distillers on who are so kind to send us whiskey. And so I saw this and it made me think of us. And what he says here can be used for multiple different things.
Like, this is... It's only gonna get bigger.
Find $1 for every time I said that about my whiskey collection. I mean, I thought that was pretty funny. Anyways, how's it going over there? You're intently looking at something. Are you questioning the Eckler thing?
I am.
I see you looking at some stats over there. Let me pull up something else here.
I am, because I'm just thinking about Pollard. Because that's listening to you telling people to sit Pollard. He's your pick to sit this week.
He plays the 4th ranked Cowboys. They're only allowing an average of 12 fantasy points to running backs.
What? What did you just say here?
The Cowboys are only allowing Cowboys.
Pollard is
Eagles.
Okay.
Sorry, Eagles
Pollard
are number
is
1.
a Cowboy here, honey.
Eagles are number 1, not 4th. They're number 1 against the run. They're allowing
It's going to be,
of
he
10
has
points.
a tough matchup, but he's been performing. We're talking about starting Eckler, who hasn't been performing.
What a better time than against the 30th ranked.
I know he does. His matchup is favorable.
The Broncos
He's
are
at
allowing
risk for losing time because of what you have a good argument there. Like, if there's ever a time for him to put up a good game, it's now, because he's going to be losing time. Going forward if he doesn't.
Broncos also in the bottom 10 for allowing receptions to running backs. And that's where Eckler is supposed to get you a lot of your fantasy points. So I think that's going to come into play. Like I said, I think this was a motivational statement. I think they get him involved out of the backfield. Aaron also says Ayuk, Diggs, or Adams this week. Only one of them. I would say Chiefs have a good defense. You expect Diggs to get some play, but Chiefs do have a good defense. The Raiders play Minnesota, who has been bad, but it is Aiden O'Connell. I know he looks decent. I think you got to go with Brandon Ayuk, don't you? Against the Seahawks.
Over Diggs?
Diggs has a tough matchup. I know he's a stud, but so is Ayuk. The Chiefs are 13th against the wide receivers.
Okay.
The Seahawks are 23rd. So that just makes me lean Ayuk. Ayuk has been so good. He's been very solid.
They're going to have a good game too. They're going to.
So you agree with me? Ayuk? You're uncertain? I think it's Ayuk. You can only start one of those. That's a really good problem to have, I feel like, because those are really good. If you can start 2, do you do...
I think Ayuk is safer. I do think he's safer.
13th ranked wide receiver.
If you can start 2, I would throw in
Diggs. Yeah. So we're neither one of us considering Devontae Adams. I agree. You can't trust Aiden O'Connell, unfortunately. Beast Mode, welcome back. Gibbs or Mostert at flex. I'm going with... I was ready to throw out Mostert right away.
Over Gibbs?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going with Mostert over Gibbs. The Bears defense has gotten better by quite a bit. I know people kind of laugh at that, but if you look at what they've done, I keep getting something stuck in my throat.
You're saying we've gotten better in 3 games? This is going to be we played them on Thanksgiving.
Right. What did he have?
Didn't we play them on Thanksgiving?
No, it wasn't Thanksgiving.
No. When did we play the Lions?
It was around
week
the week
11.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Week of.
And Jahmyr Gibbs got 21.5 fantasy points against us. And that was only 3 weeks ago.
Mostert's been a stud too, though. He goes against the 12th ranked Titans, though.
Like, you can't say that our defense isn't any better than we were 3 weeks ago.
I disagree, but I see what you're saying, and I will put the bias aside and say Gibbs is a good play. In fact, that's exactly why people shouldn't just be dropping him.
For fuck's sake.
If you missed that, go to the beginning of our episode.
So I really still think, like, whatever. It is what it is. But I just can't believe the shenanigans that are going on in our family league and why you didn't just put the just shut that shit down when it happened.
We gotta shut this shit
Instead,
down.
you got all weaselly behind everybody's back too.
That's what weasels get. They get weaseled. I hope your parents listen to this episode.
You know they will.
And get to hear that. We got some more questions, or at least one more for right now. If you have other questions, keep throwing them at us. Beast Mode, by the way, we settled on Gibbs. She talked me into it.
I say Gibbs for that
Yeah.
matchup.
Israel says, would you start Zeke over Pacheco, Eckler, or Gibbs? I know Pacheco hasn't practiced last 2 days, which I'm concerned. I understand that, but he does have a really good matchup if he does play.
I wouldn't start him over Gibbs. I don't think I'd start him over Pacheco.
Would you start? It's so hard for me to bench Eckler. My rule is no matter how bad they're doing, you don't bench your studs. Austin Eckler is a stud. He was the number one running back last year.
You don't bench your studs, but when they're not performing,
you can't give up on them because when you do, that's when they
very
pop off.
Important. I know it is, but then I don't know.
Aaron, thank you for. I love when, again, we've said it a lot of times. So I love when the chat answers the chat. We like that community feel. So please keep doing that. But Aaron would say he would put Eckler in instead of those three. But yeah, you're benching Eckler?
I don't know. No, I can't bench him either.
Exactly.
It's hard. It's very hard.
We're
getting some tough, like you guys have some good lineups.
Well, the problem is
some of these people.
I guess Eckler did miss 4 games. Nobody's used to seeing him as the 27th ranked running back.
You got to take that out when we break after the season, when we break down where people ended with they missed. So Eckler was out 4 games. So take that out of the 18 games he played, 17 games because of the bye. Take that out of the 17 games he played. So maybe he played 13. How did he rank that way? Like, what was his average for score, and how did that compare with your upper running backs?
Well, let me read you his scores.
Okay.
Week 1, 24. Then injured for 4 weeks. Week 6, 8.2. Week 7, 5.1. Then 19, 20, 19, 6.63.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he has been struggling. Their whole offense has been struggling.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
I hope I pronounce your name correctly. If not, correct me. I'm fine with that.
That makes me want to, going back to the Eckler or Pollard, like I do think you need to start Pollard. I
think it's a bounce back game. Go Eckler. Raja, I believe, if I'm saying
Pollard
that correctly.
Is consistent.
Pick 2, Pollard, Swift, or Chuba Hubbard. Pollard is on my sit list.
I know he is, but I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I agree with that sit. That it's your sit list for a reason.
That's fine.
And I don't know if I agree with sitting Tony Pollard.
Swift, let's see, has a bad matchup as well. The 4th ranked Cowboys, we just talked about it. So Pollard goes against the 1st ranked Eagles. They're only allowing an average of 10 fantasy points per game to running backs. Cowboys are 4th, allowing 12.17. And then the other one was Chuba Hubbard. And she plays the Saints. That's a little bit better matchup. And he has looked surprisingly good. He's like the one Panther that stood out the past couple of weeks. Plays the 16th ranked Saints. They're allowing 14.5.
I think Chuba
average.
Is a good.
Chuba Hubbard, and you like Tony Pollard. I don't know if I like Swift just because he's banged up. So I do think I have to agree with
Pollard
you.
Here.
Pollard and Chuba out of these. Keep an eye on Swift. He may end up missing that game, or it may be a thing. Kenneth Gainwell outsnapped him last week. If it's another close game, which I think it probably will be, Kenneth Gainwell is going to outsnap him again. So I would go Pollard and Chuba out of those. I've spoken. If you have any other questions, feel free to throw them in. Otherwise, we're going to start wrapping it up here. You counting on anybody tonight? Do you have any Steelers or Patriots players? I had Ramondre, but obviously he's out.
Yeah. Ramondre.
Yeah. Do you think Mitch Trubisky gets it done? Does he keep George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth? Does he make them relevant, or is it just you count on Jaylen Warren and nobody else?
I don't know. I can't answer that question for you.
Patriots defense has been really good recently. I will say that they've allowed just I don't know, like 20 points in the last 3 games or something combined, something stupid like that. Best bet for tonight is to take no touchdowns scored, I feel like, or take a defensive touchdown for the first touchdown. I don't know. Just kind of an opinion I have.
Defensive Patriots
Our
touchdown.
buddy Chris, what do you have for this shit show of a game tonight? See, he's on the same board. Nobody knows what to place here. Yeah, good luck in your fantasy football matchups. It's a nerve-wracking week if you have to win to get in the playoffs. I have a couple leagues where I'm in, a couple leagues where I'm out already, and then some more where I need a win. So that does make it tricky.
It does.
Yeah. The giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
We're extending it because we want to give people time.
Have we gotten anything? I haven't checked.
We have.
We have.
We
Okay,
have.
good.
We got a couple submissions.
But we know based on the numbers, because we can see those numbers, we should be getting a lot of your screenshots.
Yes. So if you listen to us on Spotify, go to your Wrapped. If you don't know how to do that, go to the website, spotify.com/wrapped. And if we are in your top 5 of podcasts, screenshot us, send it to us, whether that's on X at oldfashionedfb, email justin.mark@sgpn.io. We also have oldfashionedfootball@sgpn.io, but do the Justin Mark one, or Instagram or Facebook. But yeah, screenshot it, send it to us. We'll put you in a drawing for a free t-shirt. It's free.
Yeah. We're going to give that away. Are we giving people one more week?
Let's do one more week.
Thursday.
Fantasy football playoffs is the deadline.
Yes. That's your deadline. Get us your screenshots. We want more names in the hat.
Yes, we do. Throw them in the hat.
So we know they're out there. We can see the numbers. So come on, send them to us.
Because I do know the people that are in the drawing, they all have a Old Fashioned Football Podcast t-shirt because they're big fans of ours. We want somebody that doesn't have one to get one. Get your first t-shirt. Then you can pair it with your shot glass, which is available at the merch store. We're going to talk to Jake about hoodies. Maybe you should reach out to him. I'm always bugging him like, can we get this? Can we get that?
Yes.
You can reach out and be like, hey, we live in Iowa. It's getting cold. You got any hoodies? I need an Old Fashioned Football hoodie. I know Nick Fortune wanted one. Josiah says, what? Josiah, welcome to the party. But go back to the beginning of the episode and listen to the drama that's going on in the family league.
Josiah, there was some definite drama that happened today. I'm still pissed about it. It should never have been allowed to happen.
Yeah, you still stood up to your mom, to me. You
Because
wouldn't
you
say
were
you were
just-
pissed. You wouldn't tell her that's a bullshit move. You were like, no. Just like that.
You
Sounded like dolphin sex sounds.
get out of here, Justin.
That's why my
No.
foot feels a little better today.
You're horrible. You're horrible. No, you guys were so loud outside. I was just not having this. I was shocked because like I said, I was so busy at work today. I had no idea this nonsense was going on. And you kept it from me. His weaselly phone calls behind the scenes to get somebody else to pick him up when it just should not have been allowed to happen. It's just like, no, guys, get your shit together. There are rules that we have to uphold in this league, and you are breaking the rules. You don't get to just drop Jahmyr Gibbs, put him back on your lineup, knock that shit off. End of story. Instead, commissioner over here,
That's right.
why are you the commissioner? I think you've lost your
No,
commissioner
no.
privileges. Next year, I will take the
rule
reins.
is weasels get weaseled. That is how the rules
This is
go.
just that it's
Eye
fine.
for
It
an
is what
eye.
it is now, but come on, people. Come on. Mom, Dad, you saw you missed the trade deadline and you're figuring out ways to get each other players.
Josiah says what happened. Go to the beginning to listen to the. But long story short, at 9:53 a.m., Mike, your Uncle Mike, just drops Jahmyr Gibbs for nobody, just for no reason. At 9:58, I get a call from your Aunt Jamie saying, "Why can't I pick a player up? Somebody dropped him. Why can't I pick him up?" From Mike's phone. I would like to point out, I wouldn't have thought anything if she'd called from her phone. But when she called from Mike's phone, I was like, what's going on here? Anyways, yeah, Josiah trying to drop players from one team for another player to pick them up for advantages in the playoffs to beat you. She specifically said it's to beat Josiah.
No, she said it's to beat
Josiah. So, yeah, you should be
Paul.
just as
It's
mad,
to beat
Josiah.
Paul. But anyway, instead, you're leaving out the whole thing, though.
Well, because I said he can go back. I said long story short.
No,
That's the long story
But
short.
Justin had a huge part in all of this nonsense that happened.
Zero part.
You did.
Weasels get weaseled. Eye for an eye.
Do you not, Josiah? I want to know this. Do you not think, as a commissioner, he should have forced?
Jill also says WTF. Yeah. Why don't you
He
call
should
your
have
sister?
forced my dad. Like, he should have just, as the commissioner, been like, no, and he should have just put Jahmyr Gibbs back on the roster and said, you can't do that. You should not be able to drop a top running back. You just can't do that right now with playoffs starting.
Jill's calling BS. Jill, just so you know, instead of Jamie being able to pick him up, I made a call to my dad so that he can pick him up and they both get hosed.
And his dad put a waiver in, so he will pick him up.
Because he has the priority, and that's what they get for being weasels.
Fine, but it's just, this is all so ridiculous. We should not allow this nonsense to happen in the league.
This is corruption, Josiah says. It was corruption, but I fixed it.
No, it's not. You fix as a commissioner. You have a responsibility to. You have responsibilities to the league.
We'll put a vote out.
You have responsibilities to the league to make sure that stupid shit like this isn't happening.
I haven't heard your dad's side.
Instead,
I messaged your dad asking for his side.
We don't even know for sure if my dad knows this happens.
Should we call him after this?
I think we need to. That's another part of this. Because my mom we know because of the timing of her calling you, that my mom likely dropped Jahmyr Gibbs off of his roster on his phone, which is, there's just too much stuff going on.
It's not a trade, Jill. It's not a trade.
The trade deadline was over. Like, trade deadlines in general, close to playoffs, there's a trade deadline because we're moving into playoffs.
Yes, to avoid stuff like this.
It's to avoid stuff like this. It's to avoid, I didn't make the playoffs, so I'm going to trade Justin, all my good players, so he can beat you guys, and then we can take home the bacon.
Yes, but it's not bacon. It's a silver piece.
That is a pretty cool.
Josiah does move to have Jamie banned from the playoffs because of too many sketchy actions. It's kind of true. She's been the tip of the weaselness all year. She's now named the fantasy football weasel. That has to be her team name.
I think we need to get her a weasel trophy.
Weasel trophy. There you go.
Anyway, for real, because I think this is your grace period, Mom. This first run at fantasy football, you pull this shit next year,
you're out.
We can't do this. She's learning fantasy football. She's been very creative in her ways of trying to get better players, and it needs to stop. There are rules
next week. Yeah, there are rules a Marine or a fantasy football player sworn to uphold. Quoting what movie is it? Rules of Engagement.
Rules of Engagement.
Yes. The movie, not the TV show. I think we should get on out of here. What do you think?
I think so. You've got me all riled up about this family business again.
Again, it's not even my fault. It is your mother's fault.
You had a hand in it.
No.
I
think my solution is hilarious because now neither one of them that were weaseling get what they want. And it's just
my dad is affected. My mom's like, well, I'm not dropping my player now.
He had a hand in this. He's the one that agreed.
No, but did he?
We'll find out.
We're going to find out.
Yes. Anyways, that's all we got for today. Good luck in your matchups. I hope you make the fantasy football playoffs. Join us next week because waivers are still relevant. Start sit is still relevant.
Get us your screenshots.
Yes.
So we can give away
Go to Spotify, screenshot your top 5 podcasts if we were in it, and send it to us for a chance to win a free t-shirt. And yeah. You have anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just fired up.
And
now.
Go get some this way. It's backwards. Go get some Keeper's Heart. Old fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
I know we call it an RTD. I noticed on the bottle it says ready to serve, not ready to drink.
RTS.
Ready to serve.
Ready to serve.
But that stuff is very good. We've talked about how ready to drink things are hit and miss. This one is a hit. Mm-hmm. Definitely a hit. And then you saw me pour my Savage and Cook Bad sweater. Also a hit. Go get that as well. Go get them both. You will not regret it. I promise you that. Jill, we might be sending something to your house. We will let you know.
For you to bring to us.
Yes. Going once, going twice.
Sold.
Old-fashioned football.